This era of lone wolves, in the
It's
end,
too close to the mic.
you may be the only one there to do it. And that's my open.
Hello, Las Vegas. That was Judge Janine with one of her wonderful editorials. And this is the moment that we need to think about how endangered we are in this moment. We live in the war, and we need to be alert of what happened. That is the reason why we need to elect Donald Trump president of the United States of America. That's why we need to have Donald Trump. And don't pay attention to the Republicans, don't pay attention to the other candidates. They have to get him out of the way so they can get some percentage of your vote. So uh, with me today, it is my co-host, Clark Feeley, and also host of the Herd radio show at 2 o'clock. Also, we have a young lady over here that we're going to use only her first name just to be in the safe side. She has a situation that it is completely like only in Nevada you can see stuff like that, and it concerned her son that was kidnapped. I don't care what anybody else call him, but it was kidnapped by a well-known family in Bunkerville and Arizona and Mesquite and everywhere else. I'm referring to the Bundy family, and her name is Crystal. Welcome, Crystal, to Face the Tribune.
Thank you.
Go ahead, talk. Tell me your story. Tell us what happened with. How old is your son?
He's 4.5.
4.5. And why you don't have your son?
His grandparents have actually kept him illegally from me, but while they hid him in another state, they went to the court and they filed an emergency temporary order for guardianship, stating that my son's life was in immediate danger if returned to my home.
Why would they think that? Why would they think it will be a danger for him to be with his own mother?
The thing is I don't believe that they do. They've known me. I was with their son for 8 years, and they do know me.
So
I'm going to
where-
say they don't like
Where is
me.
his son now?
He's deceased. He died last month.
He died last month, and they got the kid before he even died.
They did. They were fighting with him about it, just basically filling his head like they always have with, he needed to keep him from me because I was seeing somebody else and just a bunch of stuff. Actually, when I first had my son, his dad, my ex's dad, came and offered me $10,000 to sign over my parental rights, which, I told him where to go with that, but it wasn't going to happen. Every opportunity that they've had to take my son, they've tried.
And that is in the Arizona side of.
Yeah, we live right outside of Mesquite, Nevada,
Uh-huh.
on the Arizona Strip.
And so where you stand now? Are you fighting the case? Are you?
I am. I'm going to court. I have to go to court to fight for my son, who I have full custody of. I've been with him every day since I had him, and like I said before, I don't feel like they really think that my son's in danger. It's just their way of being able to take him from me. They never filed any paperwork until 2 days after their son died. And what they're not telling everybody, what they're trying to hide from everybody, is that their son died of a heroin overdose while my son was in their care. They knew about it. When I found out about my ex's heroin use, I called them myself and told his family the problem and that they needed to help and do something about it, and they ignored it. They ignored it, and he's dead today because of it.
Because his family didn't do. No,
Well-
he's dead today because his lack of common sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. And sometimes it's a matter of how much people cover up for the people they know.
Right.
You know, we got the case of Ted Bundy, and you know he died because all his friends and all the law enforcement officers protected him.
Right.
And instead of them put him behind bars so he can cure himself. Even though I think you can get more drugs inside the prison than you can get outside, you know. But the problem is then now you go to court, and how do you see the possibility then, because the Bundy name is very
It's huge.
powerful, right?
Yes, it is.
It's not a Kennedy or any of those, but locally it's very.
Yeah. Where we live, it's huge. It's a big name. They have a lot of power.
His corruption is well known by everybody.
Yes. Yes. My son's grandpa is actually cousins to Clive and Bundy, who had the Bundy standoff against BLM and the FBI.
Oh, so it's not Clyde Bundy.
No.
It is Doug Bundy, right?
Doug Bundy, yes.
Doug Bundy. Oh, I see. And have you talked to them? Have you have been able to?
No, in fact,
Have you tried to contact them?
and yeah, the judge that signed the temporary order, he actually put on there that I am to get 8 hours a week of visitation with my son. But since then, they've trespassed me from their property. They blocked my phone calls. They tried to get restraining orders against me in another court, and I mean they've done everything in their power to keep me, to sever my relationship with my son, which when we went to court on Monday, the judge wasn't too happy about, but excuse me, they still haven't done anything. They committed a crime by taking my child. They took him across state line. They hid him for 3 days while they filed this paperwork, and the whole time I was on the phone and I was calling law enforcement, and I did everything I could. And nobody would help me. Right before this happened, I was actually living in Mesquite, Nevada, and when they originally had taken Ashton, who is my son, and when I called Mesquite authorities to help me, they would send a Bundy cop to my house.
What do you mean a Bundy cop?
There's cops in Mesquite that are Bundys, and that's who would respond anytime I would call for assistance.
You mean Bundy has a police force? Is that what you're saying?
Well, he has family. He has
There's just
relatives that
ties.
are on. Yeah, he
Oh.
has relatives that are actually on the department. You know.
That must be embarrassing for the police department to have cops being under somebody else.
Where doesn't that happen? Everybody in every community has a relationship or a tie somehow to somebody on the force.
Also, the law is immaterial.
Well, it depends on how much juice you have and who your connection is in the police department, of course. It all comes down to who you know. That's the way Las
Really?
Vegas was built. Who do you know? You know, so that permeates in every community.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you have whether that, I guess that goes to partial corruption, if you will, because that's not supposed to be the way law enforcement works. That's contrary to the principle, to me,
Well,
of
but
law enforcement.
assuming that the law enforcement are corrupted, isn't the court system?
No, because it's been corrupted too by.
Oh, it is corrupted.
It's all the same
Okay.
players. All the
Oh.
judges are ex-lawyers who all have bills to pay, so they have to take whatever clients they have that come into their office. They have to be able to get X amount of dollars from them so they can pay their light bill and their phone bill and their secretaries and so forth.
Oh.
So you're at your own peril when you walk into any legal office, because what's going to be done first of all is you're going to have money taken away from you.
Oh, so that's why Judge Earl said that attorneys have to be paid.
Yeah, Judge Gephardt said that after Earl said that he had to sell a home that he didn't even have any jurisdiction over, another state, had this house, and he demanded that that house be sold so he could pay one of his lawyers that turns around and then contributes campaign cash to
I
him.
know, but in your case, you are all adult. You are only talking about money. You're talking about material things. But this is a case where a child, a 4 years old child, is being taken from her legitimate. It's a boy, right?
Yeah.
My system my case should be cut and dry because it's black and white law. There's no question about it. And all this is being done to pay lawyers. And they're subverting the law. They're getting around the law. They're ignoring the law so they can be paid. That's it. That's all my case is about. Her case is different because there's all these variables out there. You have a child, so everybody plays off the child for his protection. We have to protect him from, and they can say anything they want to say. Nobody holds their lies
It's true.
accountable. So whoever trying to get custody will make up stories about the mother and call her the worst thing to ever roam the planet. I mean, this lady is not capable of doing anything. She's on this, she's on that, she grabs guns, she threatens to shoot, blah, blah, blah. She's a detrimental to the kid's health, and all this can be fabricated.
Yeah.
It's all baloney.
And I have to prove myself.
You have to prove a negative, that you're not doing something. How do you prove you're not doing something? It's like an accusation in
They don't
politics.
let you prove yourself.
It's like Harry Reid says Romney hasn't paid taxes for 10 years. Now what, Romney has to defend himself? I have paid taxes. That should be easy to prove. But it doesn't matter to Harry Reid because you lost the election.
Yeah.
Because it's the accusation that causes you problems, not the truth of it or anything about the accusation. It could be all fluff. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But in your situation where you have a child, you're particularly vulnerable because everybody on the opposing side is going to lie. That's it.
Right.
And the lawyers are going to lie because they represent one or the other. Doesn't matter. But in your case, I understand you don't have a lawyer. The other side did.
Right.
So the other side mouthpiece is lying on behalf of the phony facts. So before a judge, the lawyers have to say the truth.
Right.
Because they're officers of the court. What happens when they don't?
Well, and I didn't know when to say what, in court on Monday I was in court and I had to basically question, cross-examine, and do an opening statement against my ex's father, whom, there's tension is crazy there. I mean, it's been 8 years of just built up. I don't even know why the man hates me as much as he does. But it's there.
Well, there's lies.
And he was there?
And yeah, and I had to question him myself. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not an attorney.
Oh, because he was in the witness stand.
He got on the stand, and they had an attorney there, and from
Objection.
every paper that I have up until that court date, in fact, they were representing themselves. 2 days before our court date, they filed a limited notice of counsel.
Right.
And I didn't get it until we walked into the courtroom, so I didn't know. As far as I was concerned, we were all
But,
representing
wasn't
ourselves.
they
You
supposed
should have,
to-
well,
I should have
Monday morning
objected,
quarterbacking.
right.
You should have objected,
Objected
said,
as
Your Honor,
time-
I didn't know
yeah.
that they had counsel. They didn't before.
I find this
just
out
found
later.
out now.
You did that?
I need
No.
an opportunity to get my counsel.
Right, and I didn't know this at the time.
Right.
I didn't know until afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's Monday morning quarterbacking, and that's why
Right.
we say this on the air, so maybe other people can be warned that if you're hijacked,
Mm-hmm.
I call that hijacking, in a way,
Yeah.
because they changed the whole proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a lawyer. Now all of a sudden, at the last second, they have a lawyer, a mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is going to lie his ass off
Right.
to destroy you, and you don't have anyone there to speak for you.
They didn't file their exhibit list or their witness list until then either, and I had filed mine weeks before in a timely manner.
And who was the witnesses for them?
I have the list.
Did they try to intimidate your witness? Did they try to tell them not to go to?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of yet. I do know that one of my witnesses was a sheriff for the Mojave County Sheriff's Department, whom has since been transferred out of the department, I guess, from
You
my
mean a
understanding.
deputy sheriff, not an elected sheriff.
No, a deputy sheriff.
A deputy sheriff.
I mean, I've gone as far as to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office against the
Yeah,
whole
but
Mojave
wait
County.
a minute. But isn't it irrelevant? If he's been subpoenaed, no matter where he's at, he had to show up in court, right?
No,
If we can find him,
if you've
I
been
think.
served,
Huh?
Yeah, if we can find him.
has he been served?
Oh, so you don't know where he's at?
Not right now.
He's not working? He's not a deputy sheriff anymore?
All they will tell me is that he no longer works for the
And
department.
why are we looking for him?
He's
He was a
actually
witness.
he's actually told me, he came to my home and told me to watch my back, to be careful, because this family was going to make it difficult along with the Mojave County Sheriff's Department. Well, I should say a certain officer that works for them, who arrested me one day on a minor traffic violation. Yeah, all over a phone call.
Wow. Maybe the sheriff needs to be subpoenaed and start asking them some pointed
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
you
trying to
Find
do.
out where
Yeah.
that deputy is.
Right.
Right.
And, I don't
And,
understand. I honestly, I think you did wrong by putting that deputy in the middle of this thing, because he might went there with a good intention to help you, and
Right.
you blew his,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but what the truth? The truth
I mean,
is
what
the
do you?
truth.
Yeah. How
I mean,
wrong do you?
what kind of game do you
when
play?
when I'm fighting for my child.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, all cuffs are off the way I look at it. If somebody tells you something, why can't you relate it? Now you're protecting someone. I want my son back.
Yeah. This
Screw the protection. I'm going to tell the truth. And this is the truth. My husband, the father of the child, died from an overdose. And they say I'm the one taking the drugs.
Right.
And then you have a record, I guess, from your doctor and everything that establishes that you're not taking drugs.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah.
done these people have actually sent Child Protective Services to my home 3 times in the past few years, and I filed it as evidence in my case that every single time Child Protective Services have found no reason to go any further with an investigation or
Yeah.
any case, because they've found all allegations to be false. I mean, I've complied with everything that they've asked me, and they've never found any reason to be involved in my, and they've gone to the extent that these
That
people
should
have
be
gone
strike
to.
1 against them, then strike
Right.
2 against them, then strike 3 against them. But you know the difference is they now have a lawyer and you don't,
Right.
so all those strikes don't get added up anymore.
Right.
Because the lawyer knows how to subvert all those strikes, because he'll say something else that's out from left field.
Right.
And you have no way of defending yourself because it's a negative. So you're trying to prove a negative. It doesn't work. It's a trick that the lawyers do. They all do it. They want mud. They want to be able to charge billing hours. So they want it muddy as possible so they can keep charging and charging as long as they have someone to pay. As soon as the pay goes away, then the case goes away.
Yeah, at the end of our hearing on Monday, the attorney for my son's grandparents asked for reimbursement of attorney fees for them.
From where?
I guess me.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I said,
Right.
I'm not an attorney, but this is what he asked for.
Right. Well, being a pro se litigant, as long as the other side has money, you can cause them a hellacious amount of problems as long as you're not going to get dinged with the legal fees. Now, in this country, it's supposed to be, which is not like any other country, the loser doesn't pay. Everybody pays their own attorney fees. So they would have a hard hump to get over there anyways, charging you for something, because that's against what they call the American rule. Now, that's reason for that is because the lobbyists in Washington, D.C. work for the lawyers, and they get all these things passed. We're the only country that does that. Usually you would think common sense, if I sue someone and I lose, I should have to pay that party's legal fees that I sued. That's the way it is everywhere else in the world except here. And the reason it's not is because the lawyers want to be paid. All the lawyers want to be paid.
Right.
So that's what it's all about, it's the money. So if you're pro se and the other party runs out of money, then or has money, and you're not going to pay their legal fees, you can create a lot of trouble for them, expense, because they have to answer everything you do. So you can go to the law library. I mean, you may not know what to do, but you can file this, file that, have a hearing. You're going to wear them out, but that's not the way to do it in this particular case.
So
I don't think. You need a reasonable attorney that can go and speak for you to start with.
I do. I feel like if I had an attorney on Monday,
Right. You need someone to combat that attorney who's saying lies,
Absolutely.
and then you can prove maybe that
What
he's
was
saying
the
lies.
outcome of yesterday's, the Monday's case?
It just stayed the same. We go back in 2 months. We go back in February, which is extremely long time.
And in the meantime, they have custody.
They have temporary guardianship, yeah.
And they have restraining orders that are active against you, so you can't even go.
Right.
And you're supposed to have 8 hours
Yes,
or something?
I'm supposed to
So
have
how
8
do you
hours.
do that if
Right.
you
How do
can't?
you do that? You should have
Now that
filed
the
an
judge says
emergency notice.
Well, the judge says now I need to contact their attorney and set up something where I can be able to see my son, because he did say that the court frowns upon this because he ordered it, but he still didn't say, look, this is something I ordered. You guys couldn't even follow through with this.
What's the name of the judge?
His name's Rick Williams.
Rick Williams, and
Yeah.
that is in Arizona.
Yes, this is Arizona Superior
Sounds to
Court.
me like you need to.
Where, in Mojave County or
Mojave County Superior.
Kingman.
Yeah. Well, we're actually going to court in Bullhead, but yeah, it's the same.
Could you go, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm just throwing something out there. Could you go to Child Protective Services and say that the people that have access to your son, their son died from an overdose, they're feeding your son drugs? Say some of the lies that they've been saying, throw it on them, and then Protective Services shows up to investigate what's going on. And wait a minute, she has a court order that she can have visitation rights for 8 hours a day, and you're keeping her off the property. Maybe somebody there can intercept for you.
I've actually been in contact with a lady with Child Protective Services out of Arizona. Her name's Candy. She's been awesome, and she came. I have 2 other kids, teenage daughters, who are going through just the same as I'm going through. I mean, like I said, they're teenagers, and their baby brother's been taken from us, and so she's been in contact with us. The Bundy family actually put all these allegations of neglect and
Sure, they'll
and
pour
stuff
'em on.
against me. And when she came out to investigate, she found there was no other reasons to go further. We sat in my front yard, and I mean, I opened up to her. I told her what was going on, so yeah, she does know. She knows that he overdosed and whatnot, and I'm hoping to get her report here in the next couple of days and hopefully file that.
You could
you can get the report of the coroner that he died of an overdose.
I'm the only one that has the death certificate right now,
and it says
says heroin intoxication on it.
Okay, well, that's good. You have an email. You have email capability to send this lawyer an email and demand the fact that you see your son for 8 hours and
I
pick
do.
a date.
Yeah.
And then he has to respond to you via email.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you done that?
I just got his email. I
Oh,
just
okay.
gave him mine
But
on
you
Monday.
need to do that.
But oh yeah.
And then
Yeah,
see what his
definitely.
response is. And maybe he'll allow you an 8-hour visitation
Yeah.
Yeah.
and see what happens. And if that doesn't happen, then you got a right to go back, I guess, file with the court that they're not abiding by the thing, or go to child custody. The reason they're not abiding by this is because they don't want to see my son, because they're destroying my son.
They are. They're filling his head with. I mean,
That's
I was
right,
told
exactly.
by
That's what goes
CPS.
on.
That's the
They
problem.
brainwash him.
CPS has in their report that my son has stated that mommy gave daddy pills that killed him.
Oh,
now,
sure.
My
I mean,
son's only 4. He would
that's
never say
vicious.
something like that unless told. And the
Of
only
course
people
not.
he's been
He's
with
4
is his
years old?
grandparents. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's,
ridiculous.
they say that my son's afraid of me. And me and my son are
Sure,
so
it's all
close. and-
it's all brainwash.
yeah.
Custody's a big deal because you get the brainwash.
I don't know how people can do that. How can they put a kid in that situation?
They don't
Yeah,
care
they're-
about the
they're
kid. They
hurting the
care about
kid.
whatever their agenda is. I don't know what it is, but
Well, not only that, but these people broke the law. They broke the law. Arizona state law states that if you're not married at the time of when you have your child, the mother has all rights to that child until there is a court order in place. And what these people did is it's custodial interference, and it's a class 4 felony, and nobody is doing anything about it.
well, who did that?
My
Who's-
son's grandparents, Doug and Barbara Bundy,
Was the father still alive?
he was not. They never did any of this until he died.
He's been gone for
Oh.
1 month, you said?
He passed
You
away on
had
October
custody
27th.
when he died?
I've always had custody.
Oh. Well, this puts a different wrinkle on things.
Yeah.
What's their agenda?
They want my child.
Why?
I don't know. They now have
Probably
2 sons.
because he's the only child that their child has.
It is their
they
own.
want
It's the only
Well, it's not their.
grandchild?
No, it's not their only grandchild. They have
'Cause
other
you had
grandchildren.
Other children, you
Right.
said.
Well, yeah, but they're not. They're
They're
not from
the
him.
same father.
No,
Okay.
but they do have other grandchildren. It's just, honestly, I believe it is because he's a boy and he's a Bundy. That it's hard to explain, but
No.
Doug Bundy is very. He wants to mold him. He wants to. They're teaching him how to shoot a 30-06. He's 4 years old. It's
Can you prove that?
right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
You need a mouthpiece that can use the same tricks that the other side's using. Because if you're loyalist and you're going up against a lawyer, they're going to do every single thing in the world that they can do. My particular case, everything they're doing is a trail. And I have it all documented. So everything they've done, they've broken the law doing every single thing they've done. And it's filed at the courthouse.
Right.
It doesn't get better than that.
Right.
So I can prove it. Just go online and look at the records. There
Right.
it is. There's this order, this order, this order. You are in a different situation, so you have to start establishing that
Right.
kind of a record where you emailed this lawyer, this is what you got back. Bye, bye, bye. You know, you got a process to go through.
Right.
But the good part is you always did have custody until the father died. And now what is their justification all of a sudden?
Right.
Did the son kill? I mean, why do they want this kid all of a sudden?
Right.
They didn't have him before.
well, he has been there. He was with his dad since. See what the arrangement.
Oh,
meeting-
you gave the kid the pills that died. You gave your
Yeah,
husband.
supposedly, but
yeah,
he
that's
didn't even die
that's
of
the
pills.
issue.
So,
So you're the murderer now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
according to them, I'm all kinds of
Well, they can say whatever they want because no one holds them accountable.
right, and that's the problem. Is Doug Bundy believes that he is untouchable, and he will basically do whatever he
He
can.
said that?
No, anybody that knows him knows. He's just, and it's horrible. The level of harassment that I've had to deal with from this man. I mean, back in 2012, I filed.
And he's just what, a
Paperwork.
brother-in-law, kind of, whatever.
He was
No,
my
he's the
ex's
cousin.
dad.
Oh, so he's the
He's just a
grandparent.
grandpa.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just, it's, I mean, not only this, but they had a son die in 2008, and they had a grandchild. They did the exact same
That's the
thing.
one that
Oh,
is
wow.
in that paper?
Yes,
Show
and
it to him.
they tried to take that child as well, but I
Well,
mean,
now we have a
they didn't
history
succeed.
here. Why didn't they succeed? That's
The
what
other
we have to-
grandparents and the mom fought them, and they won. So
Who was that in Arizona?
that was in Mesquite, I believe.
Who was
And
the lawyer?
I'm not sure,
You
but
may want to find out.
she actually wrote me a letter for court. The other
That's
mother.
history. You need to find that out.
Yeah, that's why I filed it as evidence in the letters and the article that you wrote back, just to show. I wanted to show, a pattern here, and
Right. The patterns are awesome. Now, if that lawyer is amicable to representing you in some way or another,
Yeah.
he knows that whole history.
yeah, it would be great.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
That's the smoking gun. They've tried this before.
yes. Yep.
And they probably said all the same things then that they're saying now.
Oh, and yeah. This
Yes,
is their son that died back in 2008.
All right, well, while I do my history reading here, keep going there, Mr. Laraz.
I'm just
You're
trying
digesting?
to figure it out.
This was written, this story that I'm reading now was written by a guy named Rolando Laraz. Do you know him? The Las Vegas
I've
Tribune?
seen him a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, this story's right next to a story about Oscar Goodman.
Yeah.
So anyways,
So, and I think I know somebody else, Bundy, but I think I remember that case, but I don't remember the case for being tied to that Bundy. But I think it is another Bundy that had a problem with Crescent, the congressman Crescent
Hardy.
and he was involved in some kind of a car accident or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was him.
that was
Well, their son Brian died in his vehicle in the river of carbon
right,
monoxide
right,
poisoning.
right.
Right.
And what was the guy that was with him?
That left the vehicle.
Yeah,
See, I'm not sure of all the details of that because at the time I wasn't in town. But I know that it was complicated. I know that there's a lot of stuff that never
Right.
came out in that.
Right.
And I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
It's just, it's mind blowing is what it is. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing.
I'm beginning to see that.
The things that,
yeah. and he was they got a big fight. I can start coming back
Yeah,
to
it
me
was-
now.
it was
because
my
that
ex.
was what,
It was my ex.
2010 and
2008.
8.
It was my ex, Tyler, who's dead now, and Brian, who is also deceased. They were brothers, and their father, Douglas, who was in an altercation with somebody else. And then it was shortly after that that Brian was found deceased. But that's what you're thinking of, is because in your article there you had wrote about the three of them and Tyler being arrested at a Walmart. That's my son's father.
Right. Tyler was your phone father?
That's my son's father, yeah.
Tyler.
You're on the air.
Hi, this is Gordon. I've been listening to this radio program that you have with Crystal, and that's regarding the Child Protective Services and the judge in Arizona. Is this the right radio station?
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
Well, I've been listening to this, and you know, this is so typical of Child Protective Services, at least in Nevada and in Clark County, that my suggestion to Crystal is basically what you just said about developing a paper trail. You're going to have to start hanging paper, and you can do it without an attorney.
Okay.
The judge in Arizona, if I understand correctly, made or issued an order or a decision that was false, that was illegal and misconduct. So you have to start with the Arizona Judicial Disciplinary Committee or Commission, just like what Nevada has in Arizona, and start hanging some paper in a complaint.
Okay.
Now, that complaint really holds a lot of power, even if they don't even, or it takes them 6 months to make a decision or come to a decision. The fact is that you filed a complaint, and you filed that complaint with the Arizona Judicial Disciplinary Commission. And you can do that online. It's not a big deal. Just present the facts pretty much how you've presented them on your radio station.
Right. So what you're doing is you're doing a paper. You're filing a paper that you kind of need to file in the process of this thing. Whether anything comes out of that being good or not, the virtue that you did it is an important step.
That is correct.
Right.
And it holds a lot of weight because whatever agency that Crystal contacts, they're going to say, well, you know, there's a process and you got to file a complaint. Well, you can return to say, I have filed a complaint.
Right.
And nothing is being done, or they're holding it up, or it's taking forever, whatever, but you have filed a complaint,
Right.
and now you want to proceed with the process.
Right.
And on the attorney side, you have an attorney that has lied, manufactured information, and if you can prove that that attorney has lied, well, the Arizona Bar Association and the Nevada Bar Association are similar, and you file a complaint with them. And just so we're all on the same page, understand what the BAR stands for. It stands for British Accreditation Registry. Okay? So, you file a complaint with them against that attorney if you believe that attorney has manufactured information and lied.
All right.
Do you understand what he's saying?
I do. Thank you.
No, that's good advice because these are just steps that you take. The other offshoot of that may be, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when one agency knows that you've done what you're supposed to do and file a complaint, maybe they'll do their job a little better because they know you're the type of person that if they don't do their job, they're going to be reported.
That is correct. And also, if you believe that CPS has committed some misconduct, file a complaint. File a complaint against their county their county DA, whoever the DA is in that county.
Well, I filed a complaint.
Your complaint needs to go viral.
Well, I filed a
So that
complaint
every-
with the Attorney
He's on a
General.
delay, so
I filed a complaint with the Attorney General against the Mojave County Sheriff's Department because I have a printout of probably 13 to 15 times that I called an assistance to get my child in the past couple of months, and never did they help me. So I just went all the
Okay,
way to the Attorney
understand.
General.
Phone calls don't mean anything into the system.
Right.
They are nothing. You have to put it on paper,
yeah.
and you got to put your name to it. For calling up an agency and asking for help ain't gonna get it because they'll just blow you off.
Right.
But when you hang paper on them and you send it registered mail so you can prove that they received it, now you've got a lever on it, okay? So forget all this phone call stuff. It doesn't work.
Right.
And plus, if you call that attorney, he will twist your words around and make it a threat and make it something illegal. So be very careful of that.
Right.
That's why you have to do it via email and get a response from him via email.
That's how I did the
good
complaint.
stuff. Let your fingers do the walking.
That's how I filed the complaint. Is
Right.
I sent an email to the Attorney General's office for civil right. It was a civil rights violation,
Right.
and there's supposed to be somebody that is supposed to get a hold of me. It's some investigator, that's unbiased and whatnot. I've yet to hear from anybody, but
Do every single thing you can by email. That's your first instinct. Do that because that's a
Right,
record.
There's your record.
Right.
There's your record. And anyway, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're not the only one that's going through this kind of nightmare.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's
the
for
only way
sure.
to combat it is start hanging some paper.
okay, thank you.
Thanks for your advice.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. You see, everybody has a story, and the only way, I believe, the only way that you can do that is by exposing what's going on. Keeping your mouth shut is not going to do you no favors.
Right.
It is simple as that.
You're going to fight fire with fire. They're trying to make it tough on you. You have to make it tough on them.
Right.
And that's the only thing that works is you have to be more trouble. Whatever they're trying, whatever their agenda is, you have to become more trouble than what their agendas were.
Gordon was a detective with Metro for 36 years,
Oh, wow.
and he sued the sheriff, the Metropolitan Police Department, the sheriff, and 14 other people. And the only way, the only reason then he's still alive today is because he went to court, and everybody knows that he sued the sheriff, and he's keeping himself busy doing that stuff. And now he writes a column in the Tribune, and he's exposing everything. Then
It's unbelievable what goes on. I just saw a story from L.A. Police Department that Gordon had received, and somehow I got a copy of it. I don't know how, but anyways, it concerns an officer that was going to a meeting about something happened with Tupac Shakur, and then Suge Knight, however you pronounce that name. So these are all like musical type people,
Right.
and they're all connected with whatever they're connected with. And Tupac Shakur was killed over after a fight at the MGM here, sitting in a car. And this thing goes deep, and they're accusing some police officers were in on the hit.
Wow.
So it goes deep, and there was a police officer that was exposing all this in L.A. My understanding is he was on a way to a meeting, and he ended up with some kind of a heart attack. And he's like, 30 or 40 years old or something, and they're thinking he was given something by somebody.
Right.
Because where did he go? What happened?
yeah, and that.
So it goes, it's weird.
That thing, then the police stick to each other. I believe the more I learn about through Norm Jan and Gordon Martinez and all these people, then the police is not that tight with each other. They dislike each other.
Especially across state line, I've noticed, or I've
Yeah.
heard that
There's some kind of
jurisdictions-
competition
yeah.
going on and stuff, and whose
Yeah.
jurisdiction is it, and this and that, and Yeah, it goes deep, it goes on, and when you get into the family court matters and child custody, it really gets, I mean, who has the most money, I guess, is what it
Right.
comes down to.
Right. And I feel like, the judges, and especially the judge, they swore to uphold the law, and that has not been done in my case, for sure. For sure. It hasn't.
Well, they have gotten to the opinion. I've had comments made from the bench, from judges, that say any rule that I make in any order that I put in this court as to jurisdiction is the law. That's what the judge told me. That's not true, Judge. You just said a lie.
Right.
It's not true, because you have to have subject matter. You have to have two things to make a decision in court. Subject matter jurisdiction means that you have control, in my case, of the property. The property wasn't in Nevada. Case closed. You can't even decide anything about this case. You're done. This judge would get away by saying this and say, well, I understand I have to rule by New Hampshire law. Well, that would shut everybody up. Well, okay. Until he rules, you don't know if he's going to rule by New Hampshire law or not. So that shut everybody up, and where the case should have ended right there and then until the judge proves that he has jurisdiction, he keeps going on, and the fees keep mounting up and mounting up and mounting up. And then my sister ended up stealing $50,000 from the estate. Her legal fee alone on her side was $600,000. So there you go. It's corrupt. It's all for the legal fees. There's another case, I think fairly famous here about, I don't know if it's a doctor or what it was, but the judgment in the case was $600,000. That was the issue, okay? The legal fees were over $9 million. So where's the problem? And these were awarded fees. How do you award a fee in a $600,000 case and a $9 million fee?
Wow.
Where's the economics of that jurisdiction? What's going on here? It's give the money to the lawyers. And that's what you have to understand. You're up against the war.
Did you ever check and see how much contribution those lawyers have gave to the judge?
The $9 million one?
Yeah.
No, I
or
haven't.
any other of those lawyers.
Well, the judge in my particular case has never really run for office, opposed. He was appointed by a governor because whatever reason, the governor appointed him. He didn't go for election then. And then he was up for re-election after his term ran out, and he ran unopposed. So he's never spent any of the campaign contributions that he has in his kitty. He's never spent a dime, and as a result, no one's ever contributed any money to him. So that's another thing.
Hey, that's another thing.
So...
And he was appointed by Governor Wynn or
Gwynn,
Governor
yeah,
Gwynn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so this guy that I wrote the article, he is the brother of your ex,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just by reading that little few paragraphs there, there's a lot of smoke here.
There is.
There's a
But,
lot of smoke, and I just read 3 paragraphs.
I'm trying to see if I can refresh my memory. That guy that I wrote the article, people think the Grayson Hardy is the one that caused the accident.
I'm not sure. I really don't know what people think, but people do know and think that there is untold stories. There's some
Because,
untold.
For example,
there.
family members showed up where this body was at,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let him identify the body.
Right.
And that's the police department. Wouldn't let someone identify the body.
What
How do you do that?
what his father looks like?
Doug? He's probably about, I don't know, he's pretty short, skinny, kind of
Short?
Yeah, he's probably, I'd say maybe, I believe he's even shorter than I am, and I'm 5'8", so 5'7". He's just
Skinny?
Yeah, and
He drink a lot?
he's an alcoholic, yeah, and he also is he's got a bar in his leg. He was in an accident up on their ranch with a horse
How long ago?
a few years ago,
Like
and
what? 2 years, 3 years?
I believe it was probably about 5 years ago, and so he's always either on a cane or with a crutch, or he walks,
The
with a limp.
sympathetic grandfather.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think he is taller than 5'6".
He might be. I don't know. He's not very tall. He's
not?
just a little, kind
So
of reminds
that's
me of.
not the guy.
He
that
might have been
I-
wearing cowboy boots when you saw him.
I
It was a
see.
big
Yeah.
heel.
I don't think that's the guy that I met when that article was reading.
Oh, he's really
I think I got that picture from the father.
this picture here of Brian, which it kind of it shocked me because this is the picture they used in his obituary. It was his high school graduation picture, and he was in his late 20s when he passed away. So it was kind of like, why'd you guys?
I
do
thought that was I think, and I'm gonna double check, I'm gonna make some phone calls. I think that picture was given to me by the father.
by Doug?
Yeah.
Probably. I know that's the picture they used for the obituary.
Huh. I think I know him.
Yeah.
He's
a piece of
Why did
work.
you write that article? Just because, like Doug, did he have anything to do with the article?
Yeah, because the problem was it was some kind of confrontation with the guy that used to be a county commissioner or
Something like that. And
something
they owned
like
a
that, and then he
owned a
became-
place in Mesquite too.
He became a congressman.
Hardy?
Hardy, remember his
Yeah.
aide was here the other
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and I think they accuse the Hardy people for
I believe Doug has
caused the accident.
a long history with Vernon Hardy, who was a police officer for Mesquite Police Department, detective actually.
Yeah, actually, it might be something in that article about the Hardy family.
His name's mentioned in it.
It is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember it because that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I was a kid and those
Right,
days,
right.
you know, and now I'm growing up, but
It's interesting, just a little, familiarity. I haven't known about any of this for the last 45 minutes or so. But there's a lot here. I can see that.
Yeah, there really is.
But as far as getting back to your problems, I think Gordon, who called in, was right to make a paper trail. I guarantee you that is the only way that you're ever going to prevail,
Yeah.
is being able to prove things and then get things filed so that other people that ever end up looking up something can find out, oh, well, there it is. So
Right.
that kind of gives you the credibility that this isn't some talk. This is for real. Because like he said, you call a lawyer, that phone call is never going to be reported correctly.
Right.
It's going to be spun to their agenda, whatever it is. So you can't ever listen to an attorney. You have to get everything in writing. And some lawyers will go to the length of not ever responding to you by email. I watch them scramble trying to get around that.
Right.
yeah. And before we finish the show, I'd like to remind people, I have to say this, I have to remind people that not to pay attention to any of those Republican people that are talking bad about Donald Trump and asking Donald Trump to step up from the race and all that stuff, because we need Donald Trump to clean the whole country political corruption.
Well-
It's not only Nevada, it's not only Arizona, it's not only Bunkenville, it is
It's everywhere.
the whole country need to be cleaned up. And I will ask everybody to think twice before they follow any kind of suggestion, any kind of idea. Those people that are running as a Republican against trying to be the next president, they are afraid of Donald Trump because Donald Trump tell you the things the way they are, exactly how people wanted to hear. I was listening to the TV today. They said 68%
Yeah.
is against Donald Trump. That is a lie.
No. 68% support Donald Trump on his statement about the Muslims. 68% support his.
Don't support.
No, do.
Do support? Oh, well, okay, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe more than 68%.
Right.
But Donald Trump is not saying anything that we all don't think about. It is not a religion thing. It's not anything else but the truth.
He's asking that we identify who these people are, and
That's
until we
all.
can identify them, we need to pause. That's common sense. That's what he said, and I've had it analyzed. Like an analogy to this is if you have a bowl of M&Ms and 1,000 M&Ms in this bowl, 20 of them are poison. They will kill you like that if you eat one. How many M&Ms are you going to eat from that bowl?
Okay.
How many are you going to eat?
I don't know, but I love to have an M&M
I know,
right
but
now.
when you know 20 of them potentially could kill you, that's the same thing as what's going on here. We don't know one Muslim from the other.
That's right.
How do you know who are the good ones, who are the bad ones?
That's right.
Same thing with the Mexicans, same with everybody coming in here. There's bad ones that are coming in here. That was proven the other day in San Bernardino.
We cannot
How
find-
do we know? We have to know. And you're protecting the Muslims that are in this country, Donald Trump needs to say, I'm doing this to protect the Muslims that are here legally.
Right.
That's who I'm protecting.
As simple
Just like
as
the
that.
Mexicans, just like anybody that's in this country legally, my duty is to protect them. And that's Obama's duty, and he's not doing it.
He's not doing it.
So that needs to be
So,
explained in those terms.
The case of the Bundy family, the case of this young lady, the case of Gordo Martinez, the case of Clark, what's your name? Clark Feeley. All those cases are only the beginning of the corruption, folks. That's the ones that we know. There's others that go all the way up to Harry Reid.
Everything's
You know,
corrupt.
so let's clean up the government. Let's clean up the country, and let's take the country back, because that's what we need to do as an American. In the meantime, thank you, Krista, for being here, for being brave, and for opening the communication, and let's see what we can do to help you out. with
keep
that.
informed, because this is important.
Thank you, Clark, for
Thank
being
you.
here with me, and thank you all for listening. God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay, we're off. All right, very good. That was very good, Chris. You're good radio.
Yeah, and
Now they can't have me arrested, right?
no,
No, did you tell lies?
No.
And what difference does it
Yeah,
make?
Absolutely not.
if you get arrested, you open the door, because that echo is driving me crazy. If you get arrested, just call me. You know, call me collect. I don't care. You know, it's just.